This is Don Hodor from the Southpointe Chamber of Commerce, and we're here today with the Professional Career Workshop. We have a focus group to get us started in this program, and we realize this is a launch into a lot of career-based programs. Rita has spent a lot of time on this, as has Terry, and basically it's going to be a career center so that you can log on as a member and get updates, post your own information if you want to advance or you want to find a new position. We can do it that way. I haven't figured out how to do it if you're already working and you don't want somebody to know you're looking for a job. Maybe we'll have a John Doe category or a Jane Doe category might be the way to do that. But I'm going to start off by giving you some positive news. Let me make sure the music's turned down, otherwise I'll be singing with this. I'll just read to you from the Pew Charitable Trust report, and this is an independent organization that actually writes reports on what's happening in the job market, because we hear ups, we hear downs, we don't know, is the market good, is the market bad? I mean, if you talk to my mother who's 90 years old, we're in a depression. There are no jobs, and it's time to go stand in a bread line. So you don't really know who to talk to and what's happening in terms of jobs. So after 4 years of fragile and uneven recovery, the U.S. job machine is likely to kick into high gear in 2014. Even recession-battered states such as Arizona and Florida are expected to generate jobs at a healthy clip. Overall, the U.S. economy is projected to generate 2.6 million jobs in 2014 and up to 2.2 billion last year, largely on the strength of the country's booming healthcare, energy, and high-tech sectors. Nearly 500,000 of the new jobs will be added in just 2 states, Texas and California. Well, we're not in Texas or California, but if you want to get out of here, that might be the place to go. According to Moody Analysts, a global economic forecasting company, Florida added 176,000 jobs, Arizona 77,000. So let's come back to Pennsylvania. Let's see what our opportunities are here in Pennsylvania. Are we in the right place at the right time? So Pennsylvania is home of the largest energy field in the world, second largest energy field in the world today. The Commonwealth is the 4th largest producer of energy in the United States. We're second in the nation of net electricity generated. I don't know if that's Niagara Falls or where we're getting that from. We're second in the nation in natural gas production, and that's easy to figure out with the Marcellus Utica Shale. We're second in the nation in nuclear generation, and that surprises me too, because I didn't even know we have nuclear. Did you know we have nuclear power plants in Pennsylvania? Obviously we do. We're 4th in the nation in coal production and the only producers of high heat value anthracite coal. And we're 9th in the nation in total solar capacity installed. Solar. I didn't think we had enough sunshine for solar, but apparently it must be out there somewhere. Maybe it's the indirect light, or maybe it's the headlights of our cars going by as we go to and from work. So let's look at the unemployment rate and how we stack up in Pennsylvania as compared to the whole United States. Let's go back to 2009 when the unemployment rate was reported at 8.3%. And I think that's very conservative. I think it was a lot higher than that. In February 2013, it went to 7.7. At that time, we were even with the national average, meaning Pennsylvania had the same national average, same unemployment rate as the national average. But then something happened. In 2014, January, we dropped down to 6.4, which is very good. And in February, we dropped to 6.2. So we're trending toward 5%, 5.5% by the end of the year. So what that means to those of you out there on video land and here in this room, that the opportunity for jobs in Pennsylvania are there. We no longer can say we're in a recession. The recession is gone. And I've gone into it even a step further to find out that how much of those jobs, a lot of people say, well, those are shell energy jobs that change these percentages. Actually, they're not. In fact, the Shell Energy jobs have tapered off and maybe even backed down a little bit at the same time our unemployment rate was going down. And there's a lot of reasons for that, and I've report after report, but it's kind of moved a little bit to Ohio, as you might know, because the value of the wet gas is a little more than the natural gas. So it looks like the opportunity for jobs is here. Now, indirect market, which is the Shell-related industries, a law firm or maybe your financial firm, where'd he go, Waddle and Reed, has gone up because a lot of the people who have gotten the Shell money are investing the money, and of course you have hotel increase, and you have car sales increase, and you have catering going through the roof because of the Shell industry. Law firms looking for contracts and watching right-of-ways on property has skyrocketed. So when you say the Shell industry, you have to watch, because even the donut shop down the street has doubled its business because all of the big 3/4-ton trucks that are on their way to the well sites are stopping for an extra dozen donuts. So it's a difficult number to come up with, but we know that the bottom line is that the unemployment rate is down to well below where it was in 2008, or it's matching it now. So the recession appears to be, by the math, by the numbers, not by what Obama and everybody else is saying, but by the independent studies, it is now time to be able to find a job.
I would say from where do you go to look for a job? I mean, there's great social media tools. Excuse me, my throat. LinkedIn's a great tool. So
LinkedIn,
many,
I agree.
So many employers, so many. From a recruiting standpoint, we utilize it. At one time it was Job Board, it was Monster, it was Career Builder, that's where you went. Today it's first and foremost LinkedIn. There's just so much information of for potential, if you're looking for a job, I mean, you can find the right people to talk to within organizations. You have titles, you have companies. So I think the best advice I can give you is if you're not on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn and learn how to use LinkedIn, because it's a great tool.
Recently, we've seen a lot of folks that are exactly doing what Don referred to, switching careers, maybe because of a layoff or a job that didn't work out so well, or maybe they see better opportunities. At PTI, we have many evening programs. In fact, in addition to the online programs, we have students that come back. Non-traditional makes up about 40% of our enrollment. And when I mean non-traditional, they can be anywhere from 23 years old up. We actually have an HVAC student that came back, and he's in his 50s. And he's one of the most highly sought after graduates because of his other life experiences that he has that make him much more attractive to an employer. So my point is, you are absolutely never too old to learn, to make that change. You just need to take some time and think about what you really want to do, and then invest in your future.
Dawn, I think you made an excellent point. I think anyone looking to make a career change, the first thing that you need to know is, do you have the transferable skills that will transfer into the career that you're hoping to gain entry into? And if you do, that's just a matter of changing your resume and what you point out in an interview to show that in your background you have those transferable skills. Talking to a career coach or a career counselor is a great way to do that. But if you do not have the skills that are needed to enter into the new career, then it's time to think about, do you need further education? I didn't mention before, CalU has more than 130 undergraduate degrees, associate and bachelor degrees, as well as about 35 graduate and professional programs, certificates for traditional, non-traditional, and working adults. So that can be overwhelming. And I think it's very important when you're thinking about switching careers to meet with someone. In our admissions department, Nikki is in the back today, in our career services department, to talk about what program will get you to where you want to go. So it's very important to talk about the types of jobs you want to get, even the types of employers you would like to work for, and what option is going to best get you there before you invest time and money.
If you're in a position like a layoff, A temporary agency may also be able to help you gain new experience. You might be able to try a career change. You might be finishing with school, looking to get your foot in the door. So a temporary agency could work with you to work with their clients to allow you to try something in a new field. Maybe you like it and it works out for you, or maybe you realize that's not quite exactly what you wanted to do, but you're not, in a situation where maybe you're in a contract for a long period of time. You could really kind of test the waters and see, is that something you want to do, or, do you need to redirect and go somewhere else once you've evaluated what that career change would be?
The ability to speak and write the English language, okay? And that is the one area that no matter what you're doing, who you're working for, if you're working at the, if you're working at the Clearview Federal Credit Union, or you're working for whatever, McDonald's. By the way, McDonald's did hire right out of W&J some senior positions, field reps. So when somebody says they work at McDonald's, it's not necessarily flipping burgers. But number one is the ability to write a very comprehensive, to-the-point email, or to be able to write a memo that gets to the point and doesn't stray off in other directions, or to just not make, like I like to do, I flip words when I type. We used to call it typing. Now it's word processing. But I used to flip letters, and suddenly I have 3 or 4 misspelled words. But just the ability to communicate, or just to communicate over the phone. And then the second one, you were close, was 70% of all 70% was for English. The other 61% is customer and personal service. And that's the one that we are really lacking today. And case in point, I call up the funeral director. I say, my mom's 90 and she wants to have pre-need funeral package. And the person on the other end of the phone says, good, come in anytime 9 to 5. I go, okay, I'll come in. Any particular time? No, just come in 9 to 5. We'll see you. Goodbye. Wait a minute. I just called and said, I want to spend $20,000 with you. And the person said, yeah, come in anytime. Goodbye. So I took it to another level. I went to the funeral home, had Mom in her nice Buick. I said, let's go down. So we go down. I walk in the door, and I said, I'd like to have your pre-need packages. Do you have brochures or something for me? I like to pick a nice roomy coffin or something. And he comes back, and he says, let me get you some literature. He hands me literature, and he goes, I said, well, this doesn't have the prices on it. He still hasn't asked my name. I'm about to spend $20,000 with him. He still hasn't asked my name. Finally, I give him my business card. I'm ready to say, don't you want my name? He goes upstairs to get more literature, and suddenly the owner comes down because he sees the card and goes, oh, it's Don from the Southpointe Chamber. He's got a lot of bodies up there that need my service. So he comes down, and now all of a sudden he's walking me out to the car, and hey, Don, let's set this up. Let's get something, when you're ready, let me know. He still didn't ask for an appointment. So the point is that simple skill, and I just called, hate to drop names, Guitar Center. I called Guitar Center because we needed a microphone stand. I said, hi, how late is your store open till? And the guy on the other end of the phone says, we're open till 9 o'clock. What were you looking for? Oh, I was looking for a microphone stand. Well, we have microphone stands here. Do you want me to hold one for you? Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Why don't you hold one for me? And let me get your name so I can get your name on this microphone stand and have you all set up. That's communication skill that we are lacking today. And I really enjoy going into different places and finding out they didn't get your name. They didn't get your name on the phone. They didn't close the deal.
And every time we meet with employers, that's the biggest comment they make is communication skills. If young people aren't texting, they're not communicating. So we try to change that. On occasion, texting is necessary. It's a way of communicating. But more importantly, we want to teach our students how to communicate with employers. So our students have 3 courses, 3 credited classes. 2 of them are called Steps to Success, where we really try to have the students be more focused on their career, how to interact with employers. We have guest speakers come in. They have reports to do. And they also work on the emails. They work on sending a professional email that has upper and lowercase letters in it and punctuation.
What are those?
I mean, it is just amazing how not only young people, how people in general think it's okay to take all those shortcuts. And it's very unprofessional looking. And then we have a career development class where we work really intensely with the students. Later on today, I think you're going to be able to do a video interview. We do that with our students to practice. We have mock interviews. We have really the type of environment where they're expected to take charge of their career and partner with us. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes we get the parents involved, which is unfortunate for young people because they need to stand on their own 2 feet. But we really try to work with them, and right now we're going through evaluating our career development class because we can see that with the different types of students and the variety of backgrounds that people bring with them, we need to personalize it to make it a part of who they are so that they feel comfortable in using it whenever they're on their job search.
You know, and actually in medicine, communication is, improving communication is a big deal. We have a lot of electronic records now with notes that are very long and have a lot of what we say noise for signal, where you just pull in lots of data and confuse the information. When there's communication between, say, nurses and physicians, we try to teach a model called SBAR, S-B-A-R, which stands for being able to describe the situation that the nurse has encountered with the patient, be able to give background on that patient.
Is that an acronym?
Yes, yeah.
And it's-
SBAR, give the background on the situation, for them to give their assessment of what's going on, and then the R is for them to give a recommendation, then the doctor.
What was S?
Their situation,
Oh, situation.
background, an assessment, and a recommendation. And, really, that kind of applies to anything in life. I mean, that obviously in a medical situation, you may have a life or death information being relayed, so you want to make sure that the person that maybe was woken up in the middle of the night actually heard everything and thought appropriately on what to do, or went and saw the patient when they needed to.